Well, today is September 21st, Thursday, and even though tomorrow, Friday, is actually technically my last day, but I did machine time today, and then instead of the classroom 1 to 2:30, I wrote a final exam. So it was about 40 questions, about all these safety regulations, parts of machines, steaks were difficult. They show you a picture of a steak, steaks they use at construction sites, and of course it's all abbreviations. There were 3 specific questions about steaks, and guess how many I got wrong? All of them. Because it says like S 2.5 M, okay, S, and then like C something. Basically one of these means centered, one of them means offset. Yeah, I have to brush up on these stakes because once, if and when I find a job, so I should be able to read the stakes, right? And they're all in my book. In this Bible, they have all these abbreviations, what it means, but the cool thing is that 40 questions on this final exam, and you only have to get 65% of correct answers. So I made out of 40, I got 10 wrong. Like, for example, there was a question about carbon monoxide, and for some reason I thought that you can actually smell it, because if you lock your car in a garage, right, and with the engine running, you can smell the exhaust, right? But no, the correct answer was all of the above, which means that odorless, colorless, like this carbon monoxide. So I got that one wrong, surprisingly, and then the steaks, but I passed. I think I did like 81% of correct answers, so they congratulated me, gave me this cool packet, and check this out. So I have my beautiful, ready to be framed certificate of graduation, with a nice stamp, September 22nd, student number. The faculty, board, and managers of Interior Heavy Equipment Operator School certify to all that Sergei Dratchev has successfully completed the following course: LOADER. So now I'm going to take a picture of this, and next time I'm sending my resume out, I'm going to attach this. And also, to improve my chances, also, if I'm sending a resume, I'm not just sending the resume by itself, but I'm sending my picture, where there was I took a selfie next to the loader, and I'm going to attach this. And also, here we have a graduation package. What is here? Oh yeah, it says, wow, you did it. Congratulations on completing Get Trained, Get Working. Your alarm course has taught you the real-life basics of the heavy equipment operating industry. Yeah, so basically there's some tips, basically kind of like a welcome letter, and they give you a bunch of websites here. Oh, that's pretty cool. A lot of websites where you can do your job search, not just Indeed Canada, but also there's a bunch of these. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna definitely check it out. There's like 20 websites over here. And then also over here, they gave me, this was one of the tests. I think they gave me like a little nice, yeah, I see there's my safety. I think they gave me like this. What is this now? Oh yeah, and I even managed to make a mistake on this. Unbelievable. I knew it, but basically they said if there is a color code markings I'm guessing on a stake or on a sign, if it's a red color, which utility is underneath? And the answer was oil, gas, electric, and something else. And for some crazy reason, I decided to mark gas oil as a correct answer, which of course the correct answer is electric, right? They have these colors here. But wait, where's my... So, yeah, these are my safety tickets. See, these are the tests I did on the computer. And then also, I just got the email today from Red Cross, and my certificate was attached. So technically now I'm a first aid level 2 provider. But also the cool thing is that, oh, I'm gonna do the pictures of these. Take a picture of them, right? And what's the other one? Oh, ground disturbance. That was a big deal. Ground disturbance. It should be waiting for me at home. But also I got this cool card. Check this out. It's like a certificate, you know. It says the school name, my picture, Sergei Dratchev, training completed, LOADER. You know, and then on the back it has again all these color codes, so it's pretty cool, you know. But yeah, I cannot believe how fast these 3 weeks went by, and I did not get my full 50 hours I was promised, because yesterday we had bad weather, and so they had to shut us down at 9 a.m. So I only did 2 hours instead of 5, so I lost 3 hours there. And then today I did my full 5 hours, but tomorrow they have all our instructors and the office lady, they have to go to Edmonton. There's some kind of a meeting of all these 3 schools that IHE operates, 2 in Alberta, 1 in BC, some kind of a basically company get together, and so they have to leave at 10:30 or something, right? Because, you know, Edmonton is pretty far. And so we agreed that we still want to do machine time. Most guys said, yeah, we still want to use machine time, right? Because it's very valuable. And I paid for it. But instead of 6:45, we're going to come in at 6:15 tomorrow. So half an hour early. And we're going to practice, instead of 11:30, we're going to practice until 10, I think, or 10:30. No, I think 10. So basically just 3 hours. So I'm losing 2 hours there. So basically instead of 50 hours, I'm getting 45 hours. But, you know, what do you do? But I feel pretty good. So today I finished that fuel station I was building yesterday. And the big challenge was, you know, once you have all this material like piles, right? The big challenge was how to make it flat, like the top, right? So in my you know, naive as I am, I thought I would just slam the bucket down, you know, but the bucket weighs nothing, you know. It's funny, like that was in my mind. I thought, okay, I'll just come from the side, and there's a bunch of material here, and I just push the bucket with a flat, you know, pitch, just push it, and then raise it and see what happens. And guess what? Nothing happened. It just probably like area like this was flat, the rest was the same as before, chaos. And then I called Daniel, one of the instructors. I said, Daniel, I'm sorry to be asking this, but would you mind coming over and show me what's the best way to make the top flat, you know? And so he comes in, and what he does is he puts the bucket pretty much level on the area that needs to be flat, and then he just starts driving back, you know, with a flat bucket. So that makes a huge difference. Like just with the bucket slamming it down, nothing. But if you drive like that, like he he showed me a couple of spots so they were like perfectly flat. Okay, so I started doing that, and all of a sudden, instead of a flat surface, I do this, because you put it at the top as far as you can go, right? You put it down and it's level, and you start driving, and what happens is that the bucket just goes like this, and it took me like, I don't know, hour and a half to figure out that I have to curl the bucket. When I come to when the bucket is flat, I drag it down to make it, and then at the very end, when I see I'm kind of like at the edge of this pile, I have to curl the bucket, and that improved my results right away. So I was getting more flat surface, and then of course they said, okay, now put it back. So I had this fuel island like half done, because the middle was still, I couldn't reach it, right? So because I didn't listen to the instructor he said do one row, 4 buckets, and then flatten them, and then do another row. So instead I did 2 rows, thinking that I'm gonna reach and this will be faster, but today I was operating the John Deere instead of a Volvo, and John Deere has a shorter boom, and so I cannot reach. And so when I finished this fuel island, like a platform, in the middle I could not reach. It was these spikes, and the sides were not exactly flat, they were slightly like this, but I tried my best. And then they said, okay, put it back. So I did this other exercise, right? Stockpiling. You basically load the bucket, put it back in the pile, to the main pile or windrow. And a couple of times I noticed that a typical mistake I make as a newbie loader operator is I put the bucket level on the ground, right? Let's say I'm moving forward and I have to take off some material, right? I put the bucket level, I watch the lines there at the top, which indicate if you level or not. But then all of a sudden I start cutting into the surface, instead of just picking up everything above ground, I start making a ditch, I talked to one guy, he says the best way, he says I did the same, he says the best way to do it is when you put your bucket down, let's say this is the bucket from the side, he says don't put it like this flat, put it on the heel, just lightly, right? And then start driving forward, and then start slowly putting down your bucket until you feel that it's collecting material, right? And you can tell by the resistance, and then you can play with it, right? So like this, it'll dig a hole, right? It's easier, you just play with it, and with the boom a little bit, sometimes you can raise it. But anyway, it's tricky, it's not as simple as it seems, like, hey, a loader, And then they asked me to, actually, it was interesting today, one of the guys on the excavator was, his task was to dig a trench, and now he was doing backfill, filling it in, putting the material back in the trench. And one of the instructors says, Sergei, when you're down there, go help this guy there in an excavator. And I said, what do you want me to do? He says, just push the soil, the material, closer to the trench so that the excavator can reach. And basically I was just put my blade down, started driving, and I think there was like a void in there or something, and the machine tilted. All of a sudden I made a ditch again, And the instructor says, Sergei, watch your bucket. Don't make, ditches in there. Man. Because I did not learn about that heel method until later. And so I did that, helped them, push material closer to the excavator. And then they said, Sergei, go help the other guy. He's loading a rock truck in there, see if there's any holes that need to be filled. And in the rock truck, because the ground was soft after the rain yesterday, so when the rock truck like it was being loaded by the excavator, so the excavator was sitting on top of the hill, and the rock truck was coming below, and he would load him, right? And so because of the weight, there were a couple of like indentations, you know, in the ground, which of course makes it difficult for the rock truck, you know, to come in and leave. And I asked the guy in the excavator, I said, "Hey, Adam, what do you want me to do?" He says, "Yeah, just clean up here, make it a bit more level, closer to me, closer to the hill, so that the rock truck can come in." And so I just basically, I just started cutting a little bit. I put my bucket down and just drove forward, you know, making sure I don't create a ditch, right? But just taking off some high points, and you know, and then I put my blade like this, and I went backwards, and right away it looked better, right? And then the rock truck came in, and while he was being loaded, I cleaned up another area, made it smoother. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I'm getting the hang of it, and I really do enjoy the setup on the John Deere, where the reverse and forward is on the joystick, right? So your left hand never leaves the steering wheel, right? Because you change your direction with the joystick on the right. You can change your gears, you can tilt your bucket, you can boom up, boom down, you know. Whereas on the Volvo, there's a lever here under the steering wheel, so you have to constantly take your hand and put it, you know, you cannot just steer and shift at the same time, right? Whereas here it's very easy. So I see the value of just having two joysticks, you know, like what big machines have. They don't have a steering wheel, they just have left joystick is for steering and direction, I think, and the right one just operates the attachment, you know, the bucket, the boom. So that way it would be even faster, you know. So today I was doing pretty good, like in terms of movements. I was moving pretty fast, and so yeah, I took down that fuel island, put everything back, and of course made the hole again like a small trench because the blade went too deep. And one of the instructors came over, showed me how to fix it. He says, just put a bunch of material on the top and then go across. He says, don't go in the same direction where your ditch is, but go across it. You know, just lift your blade a little bit like this, you know, and you have material there like a pile, right? And you just make it smooth, and on the way back you put your blade like this and go back. So anyway, so the plan today is to celebrate, relax, maybe check out some of those websites. They gave me this graduation package. Enjoy the good weather. Actually, today in the morning it was pretty cold. It was like +1. What? Like 33, 34 F. And it's getting darker and darker. Like when we start at 7. That's why I bought that little light I can put on my hard hat, you know, because we do a pre-trip inspection first, of course. You fill out, then you start the engine. While it's being warmed up, you do your pre-trip inspection sheet. And then at the end of the day, usually 3 times a week, we do greasing. You know, I had no idea that these construction machines have to be greased so often, you know, like on a truck, right? When I had a semi-truck, you grease it, I don't know, 5,000 miles, 7,000 miles, basically between oil changes. But here, the excavators are greased daily, but loaders were greased like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But because we didn't grease it yesterday, which was Wednesday, because of the rain, so they said, let's do it today. And so they have these grease guns in there, in a little shack. You grab them and you go, just put grease in all the nipples. So that was fun. So yeah, I think I learned a lot today. And I'm feeling, you know, more and more confident every day that I can do some kind of like entry-level job on a loader. But also one of the instructors said when you're looking for a job, he says also since you can operate a loader, you can also operate a bobcat or skid steer. So he says put down that you're looking for a job as a loader operator, skid steer operator, and I also decided to add a rock truck operator because I'm pretty sure I can figure it out how to operate a rock truck. So I also asked the lady from the office. I said, she said she's going to check with me in 2 weeks, but she said if she hears of any positions where loader operators are required, she's going to pass them over to me. So that's it. 3 weeks almost is gone. $6,300 tuition is gone. Tomorrow I'm just going to wake up real early and be at the school at 6:15 for the toolbox meeting, safety meeting, and then like 3 hours in the machine. Don't know what they will have me do, because I already loaded trucks like 3 times, like 3 days. I did this fuel island, I did a ramp, but it was not a good ramp. But because we're only doing tomorrow 3 hours, I don't think they're gonna give me something big, because it takes a lot of time, to create a pile and then to put it back. So I don't know, probably tomorrow I'll be just maybe doing like leveling and helping guys to backfill, to fill the trenches with material. So I think it's gonna be something easy. Anyway, that's it. That's my update. I know some of you guys are getting tired of this loader operator school videos, but tomorrow is the last one, I promise. I'm gonna bring my camera tomorrow and see if I can videotape my last day of training. Ciao. Пока.